Hello, Linda and Linda C, Linda Horner, Linda Carter, and Steve Bevins. Glad to see you here, brother. It's always good to have a couple in here when we get started. Uh, it's really good for us. But as always, most of everything I'm going to say here is going to pertain to those who catch this on the replay uh, and those of you that hear. Always remember to hit the like button on your way in or your way out, or hit the dislike button on the way in or way out, whichever you choose. But hit the like button, leave me a comment, and make sure you're subscribed. And I will answer all comments. I read every one. There's a lot of good people on YouTube here. I need to shout out. I want to shout out the smaller channels, the ones who struggle like I do every day just to get a video out on a routine basis, and that is Sam Reports. A great lady. She's up in Connecticut, and she's coming to South Carolina soon. So she's fixing to come to God's country, and we welcome her. And I hope she makes the trip very soon because she hates living in Connecticut. And then we have Charity. Charity puts out some really good stuff. She's fixing to start doing some other videos as she travels throughout her day and her job. So be looking for that from Charity. And also, Charity is going to join John and I on Friday nights. And so we're going to have a three-way panel every Friday night with Charity. But might as well get started with this and just let it roll. So if you want to go ahead and start, John, we'll get this thing started and see if we get some comments from the chat, and we'll try to do some interacting with them.
Well, we'll try to be a good boy today. And we're going to start off with that snubbling commie up in Michigan, Whitmer, who
exactly
complaining that the protesters are all racist. She said she's seen Nazi flags and Confederate flags and people hanging nooses. And, that's getting old, people.
But it still warms my heart.
Well, the thing that's nice, when they start calling things out like that, that means you're doing something right. You're under their skin, because that's the first thing they do is throw down the darn race card. Funny, though, one of the guys that they interviewed was a black gentleman saying, I just want my job back. I don't want free handouts. I want to go back to work. Leave me alone. So, so they're dropping the race card, playing that BS game. Here's a novel idea. Just leave the people alone. Leave them alone and let them live their lives. What's funny is they don't like this. That's just the tip of the iceberg. If they keep pushing, it's going to get even worse.
Yes.
Like I said the other night, they're whining, oh, we have to wear bulletproof vests to protect ourselves. Well, that's the new norm, people. You brought it on yourself. If you poke the bear, you get bit.
I'll tell you, I give all the kudos in the world to those guys who went into the chamber there with shotguns, sidearms, rifles, the whole gambit. They were well armed. And I have to take my hat off to them. I mean, these guys did something, but yet they did it for me without me even knowing about it.
They did it for all.
They did it for everybody. Yeah. And these men should be praised for going in there and standing up to the legislature or the Congress or whoever it was.
Not even close. She said those protesters do not represent the almost 10 million people of Michigan.
That's true. That's true.
Oh.
Republicans, conservatives, we're all white supremacist racists. And, that's just the way she looks at us. And she could care less about what we think or what we do or what we say. But I'll tell you what's important to her. And people, y'all going to get a hoot out of this, I hope. Because if you live in Michigan, The governor, we all know she's already prohibited visiting close friends and family, even if they happen to live next door. Even if your mother-in-law or your mother and father live next door to you, or your kids live next door to you, you can't go to their house. They can't come to yours. You can't buy vegetable seeds or gardening supplies. God forbid you grow your own food, you know. When the food crisis hits after destroying all of our beef and our pork and our chicken, our milk and our eggs, and they're telling us we can't grow gardens, you can't buy seeds, you can't plant tomatoes, you can't harvest anything, but you can get one thing, John, actually two things. You can get condoms and sexual lubricant delivered to your door.
There are priorities.
Thanks to the Michigan Health Department, condoms and sexual lubricants can be delivered to your home. This must be done now because people can't leave their homes. And the health department said, we feel it's extremely important during this public health crisis, hoax, that's my word, not theirs, to support the community in protecting themselves against unintended pregnancy. All right, well, the condoms, the sexual lubrications, the lottery tickets, the alcohol, and the marijuana are all essential to life.
Don't forget abortions.
And abortions, yes, you're right. And of course, the packages are discreet and they're unmarked, you know, so nobody knows that you're getting condoms delivered to your house. Isn't that something? They're even going out of their way to make sure that you're not embarrassed for getting sexual lubricants and condoms delivered to your house. House crazy people.
Well, think about that though, Bobby. I mean, it's you can buy alcohol, you can buy weed, you can get an abortion, you can have sex, but do not go to church and do not go to mom and pop stores because that's where the COVID, the Winnie the Pooh, the whatever you want to call it, is hiding out. You know, it's amazing how smart this germ is. It doesn't find its way into Walmart or Costco or Sam's, but it does seem to find its way in every mom and pop store there is in the United States or throughout the world.
Isn't that amazing?
Funny how that is.
Isn't that amazing? I'll tell you, it's crazy the way this whole thing hits and who it hits. You know, it's the elite seem to be left alone.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see any elite coming down with this, and if they do, it's it's some nobody that you've never heard of before. But the elite in our government and in our businesses, you know, that's what they do is they protect themselves because they don't protect us. Hey, Miss Mary, Linda Horner again, Scarecrow. I saw some other people. Kirk Mullins, thank you for being here. And Scarecrow, Linda Horner, Linda Carter, Jeff B. To Scarecrow again. All right, people, I'm glad you're in here. Keep talking amongst yourselves. If you get on topic with us, we'll try to interact with the chat. Because Linda Carter said in the virus in the meat processing plants. Yeah, yep. That's true. Yeah, that's right. It doesn't show up in presidential press shows. But, you know, we all know that this is a hoax. It's a manufactured crisis. I know that, yes, it is deadly. And yes, there is a problem and we need to address it. This is just like we would the flu, because that's what it is. It's a strain of flu. And everybody's blowing everything out of proportion. We need to just slow down for a minute, just take a break, and come back and look at the real issues. Hello, Black Matter. How you doing, Jeff B? Good to see you guys. And that's what we need to do. We need to get away from this stuff because, you know, I got to talk to you about New Mexico before I forget about it. This New Mexico governor, Michelle Grissom, has invoked the Riot Act in Gallup, New Mexico. The Demon Rat, Governor Grissom, received requests from outgoing and incoming mayors of Gallup to literally close down the whole town. The incoming tyrannical mayors say that this is a crisis of the highest order and immediate action is necessary. Well, here's the results of that immediate action that this governor has invoked. Businesses can only open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and they must observe social distancing. Vehicles are restricted to 2 people. Only leave home for health, safety, and welfare reasons. If stopped, who will determine health, safety, and welfare rights? It's going to be the cop. So no matter what you say, it's all up to that cop if he wants to play with you or if he doesn't. But the Gallup police, get this. The Gallup police, the McKinley County Sheriff's Department, New Mexico State Police, and last but not least, the New Mexico National Guard have all been called out, and they closed every road going into Gallup, New Mexico, and every road going out. Tyrants. I'm telling you, these people are tyrants. Every single one of them. The ones pushing this mess and the ones enforcing it. The police and the National Guard. They need to stop. They need to something needs to be done because you see now, John, we've talked about this for a long time about who is the police and the National Guard going to support in a time of crisis.
Absolutely.
And look who they're supporting.
Yeah, we're seeing it now firsthand.
Hey, Liberty Smith, good to see you, brother. But yeah, we're seeing it right before our eyes. But we're not supposed to be paying attention to New Mexico. They're out there somewhere. Nobody ever pays any attention to New Mexico. But this is how they do it. Now they're going to surround that town and shut it down because they say that there's more cases in that county than in any other county. So that's where they're going to hit, is where the most cases are. Well,
Yep.
So what? But they're totally not just restricting you to your homes. You literally cannot leave.
Right.
You are literally under arrest.
Home arrest.
In my opinion, you are under house arrest.
Yep.
We're under house arrest without seeing a judge, without having a verdict, without him imposing sentence. You are confined to your home in Gallup, New Mexico. And there's a lot of people in Gallup, New Mexico.
Yep. Yet they're letting murderers and rapists out of jail.
In California, they sure are.
Everywhere's.
Yeah.
Think about that. Once again, I mean, realize, there's something out there, but what they're saying is out there is not, it's not accidental. Back in March 27th of this year, the coronavirus bill became law. All right. But what people don't realize is back January 24th, 2019, Joe Courtney from Connecticut in the House and Ways Committee, House Ways and Means Committee, put the bill in for the coronavirus pandemic. Then when did we find out about coronavirus in China? December? November?
I was going to say December, late December.
So, and you guys, you can look this up too. I'll give you the House resolution number. So why on January 24th of 2019 were they putting in a bill for funds for the coronavirus?
And it was supposedly it hadn't even been thought of.
It's House Resolution 748 under the CARES Act, people, if you'd like to look it up, right under the government website. And this is the thing. They really think we're that stupid that we won't go digging for this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they think that it's just, they'll put out whatever propaganda they want to put out. And it is propaganda.
Yeah.
It's propaganda straight up and down. They're not giving you the truth. They're giving you pieces. They're taking little tidbits of truth and surrounding it with a bunch of lies. And that's what they do. Hey, Stoney, good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. And Wayne Rogers, good to see you here. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you coming in.
Hey, you know, I got a question, Bobby.
Sure.
When they do these checkpoints and they scan your head and they ask you all kinds of questions,
Right.
is that not protected under the HIPAA law? Think about that.
You probably know more about that law than I do. So enlighten me.
Well, as far as I know, that should be protected under the HIPAA law. You figure under the ADA and the HIPAA, a person's not required to disclose their medical conditions. Yet, these people are demanding it.
Well, Kurt, I can agree with you. But the fact of the matter is, this is what they're doing. We're not preaching doom and gloom, and by any means are we passing this off as some kind of pandemic. We're calling a spade, and a heart. And if it falls on somebody, then it falls on them. I mean, we don't select who we single out or what group we single out or anything else. Then the actual news dictates it. And so that's what we're going to do is we're going to bring the latest information. And that's why this show is Deplorable Bobby, the way I see it. And this is the way I see it. Yeah. It's not here for debate. And I'm not here to push government policy.
No. I brought up this House resolution bill in order to go to the point of HIPAA. Because people, they forget their rights when stuff like this goes down.
Exactly. Because I was going to talk about that. That's what they do. We're a nation of hard-bitten individuals who come together for one good, and that is for good of themselves.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about.
Unfortunately, I mean, absolutely, I agree. I agree with Kirk. We need a solution. Unfortunately,
yes, we do.
I only see one, and it's not good.
Yeah, and that's the one we're not going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because we'll surely get kicked off if we do.
Yeah.
But everybody remember what happened in 1776.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something along those lines. And
they're not going to stop. They're just going to keep pushing this agenda. I mean, it's an agenda. We know it's an agenda. They're going to keep pushing it. Until really at this point the ball is in our court. Things are happening. Like with her up there, they didn't extend the stay-at-home rule in Michigan, so it did pan out. But it's just, you get so tired of the same crap. Just give it up, people. Let us live our lives and leave us alone. Who are you to dictate our lives to us? Just leave us alone.
Amen, Kurt. Love conquers all through the power of our God.
Yeah.
Amen. And I agree with you 100%, brother. I truly do. But the facts are here, and the facts need to be told.
Yeah.
You can do with them what you want to. If you don't like it, put them in the trash, put them on the shelf. Maybe somewhere down the road, you'll remember what I said and you'll say, oh, let me check out that video that Deplorable Bobby did that night. Because now, so anyway, all I'm saying is, somewhere down the road, you may have justification for believing some of what I say. And that's to anybody, not singling out anyone. That's just the way it is, because, we should ask the question, John, we really should ask the question, how intense is the opposition of we who actually are in the minority right now during this crisis, who are convinced that government dictates, the way they dictate is capricious, it's arbitrary, and it's ruinous. And I, for one, will not sit idly by forever.
Right.
I hope we can rise up. And when we rise up, defeat the enemy that is taking over our land. We need to rise up everywhere in the United States and let them know, just like those men did at that Capitol building.
Yes.
They need to rise up. They're not going to do anything to you. If you get arrested, believe me, you're going to have lawyers beating down the jailhouse door wanting to be your lawyer. This is going to be a really blown out of the water kind of thing after all this is said and done. But, you know, we're suffering from a laundry list of things, you know, exacerbated by the COVID lockdown, and I still call it a hoax. The government has effectively said to all people, too bad for you. You know, so sad, too bad. It is what it is. Live with it. And these people are living with it. You know, this quarantine hoax has been incredibly destructive in policy and in the way it was taken out and the way it was portrayed to the people and the way it was given out. You know, they're trying to buy us with money. They think that, yeah, $1,200 here and there is going to sway our way of thinking, you know, but that's not the way it is. Now, granted, many of these social justice warriors and these demon rat followers, oh, they'll grovel at their feet for an extra $1,200.
Right.
You know,
right.
But, you know, some people are still suffering great losses while other places aren't suffering as much. And that's true. I see it right here in Georgia. It's a testament to the American spirit that so many have endured this hardship so far and so long, but it's been done needlessly. This was all, it never had to happen.
Yeah. You know, another thing too is you look at the states that have the hardest restrictions on everything. Okay. And they're the ones begging for funding. Ironically, it's all the states that are broke. All the states that have questionable situations with their pensions, you know, on paying out the retirements, New York, California. Think about that. You know, once again, you know, and we already know about the whole the COVID thing. I mean, now even the government's coming out and admitting that they're putting people down. You could have been in a car accident and had COVID. One thing, though, that does burn me is I just read a case recently about this where a child was killed in a car accident, but he had a fever and he had been at the hospital. So they wrote his death down as COVID-19. The insurance company will not settle with the parents for his death in the car accident.
That makes total sense.
Isn't that sleazy?
Well, it plays into everybody's hand. And Liberty Smith, you're right. Most Christian churches have complied with the violation of our First Amendment. They will comply with the vaccines too.
Yeah.
Sad. And it is very sad that the sheeple people are going to be the ones who are led to slaughter.
Yeah.
And
you know, I mean, there are a couple out there, not that I'm a big fan of the DOJ and Barr, but they have come out and taken side with the church in Virginia and backing the church and suing Northrum after they arrested the pastor. So that's a good thing. But I mean, you know, then again, it's Barr. Oh, I don't trust him as far as you can throw him. You know?
Yeah, he's a Bush implant. But hey, okay, I got something on that piece of crap. If I can just find it. Yeah, it's right here along with that anti-American piece of crap, Hanoi Jane Fonda. The former president, pardon me, but that POS, he sent video messages to America to support draconian tyrants' efforts to destroy America. He went on there, you know, trying several times to kill America as presidents. But now, thank God he failed. But just like Obama failed, he's worthless, just like Obama. And he thinks that now, so many years removed from the tragedy of his presidency, which was 9/11, you know, that's, and wasn't it him that had the fake Osama bin Laden take out? Wasn't he still president when that happened?
Yeah.
So, you know, he's really a worthless piece of crap. He was a puppet the whole time, and he's a puppet now. He needs to go down to Bolivia down there and get on his ranch. They have a ranch that's 141 miles wide and 141 miles deep. It's pretty much a square. and is surrounded by the Bolivian army. So he's got all the security he needs. He needs to take his butt on down there to Bolivia and just leave us alone and shut his mouth, because he is irrelevant.
Right.
He is irrelevant as this American hater, Hanoi Jane Fonda. She demands that the recovery funds that are used to fight the coronavirus should be split with climate change, to fight climate change. Well, I don't know if you know who Hanoi Jane is. Most of you are old enough. Yeah, she was a turncoat during the Vietnam War. She went over to Vietnam, and yeah, she had pictures taken. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've even got one. There is Hanoi Jane Fonda looking through an eyesight of an artillery gun. Now, she's supposed to be an American. I say that is about as un-American as you can get and still be at war with the country that she's siding with here. But anyway, that's Hanoi Jane Fonda.
You know, and why do their opinions even matter?
Well, I wonder that myself, but she used May Day, which I guess was the 1st of May, to hold a virtual rally to renew assaults on the oil companies, the drilling companies, their leaders, and of course, President Trump. So it is what it is. And I guess people just don't like what I'm having to say. They're dropping like flies. But my people are still here.
You know, I don't know. It's ridiculous. It really is. The ones whose opinions don't matter, they let them speak their mind, and yet they ban people like Candace Owens or David Icke. You know, throw them right off. It's a joke. It's getting tiring. It's getting old. Really, I mean, it's to the point now where when's it
going to happen? Amen.
We're done with this whole thing. You know. It was kind of funny. I haven't been following Q for a while, and a Q alert came out within the last couple of days, and it was a picture of Trump saying, you know, the horrible, stick with me. You know, you're going to like the ending of this movie. Well, you know what? It's getting old too. We're tired. You know.
Yeah.
We've had enough. It's time to start pushing back. You know, it's not a game to us. You people have money. You have everything you want. The rest of us is struggling. You back somebody in the corner too long and too often, they're going to come out swinging, and not even Trump is going to be able to stop. It's human nature. It's human nature.
We're not promoting anything, but just to show you that I'm sincere in my endeavors to make sure that I live as long as I can. I just got 2 new 20-round clips in the mail yesterday that I'd ordered for my carbine. So I'm not just telling you to prepare to say prepare, because I'm preparing myself.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's if you can get them. Like I said, I went yesterday for some clips for mine. I can't even get them. They can't even order them. So.
Yes, you're right, Kurt Mullins. You're right as heck. If they want to arrest the whole congregation for exercising their faith, the wrath of our Lord may be upon them and could rain down on them swiftly, just like he did with Sodom and Gomorrah. And Dan Pete, good to see you, brother. He says no social distancing around here. There's a gas station down the road. You can't do 6 foot apart. Okay. Hey, no, you didn't lose your mod tools, Stony Stone. If you did, I will fix that, brother. I promise. I will fix that. I did. You've always been a mod on my channel. So I can't do it right now, but I will do it as soon as I'm done. I will make sure that you got your mod back. We had the same thing happen to a couple other people. So it's probably just you two messing with us, you know. So I'll get you, Stony, after this live stream. I'll make sure I get that right.
One good thing that's going on is old sniveling Bill Gates. He's heartbroken because the people are just not following in line like he had hoped they are. All his accounts, they're saying, has extreme negative feedback. I think it's funny. and he's just he's shocked by the behavior of the people.
Yeah.
So get used to it. Get used to it. It's going to get worse.
Well, thank you, Linda. She said that we helped sort out the garbage. Well, that's good, because that's what it is. It's all garbage.
We try.
Every bit of this is garbage, but we have to report on it. Because if we don't say it, nobody's going to put it out there. You know, at least not in our circles. And Wayne, I agree. You know, I was a big Trump supporter, and I voted for him. My mother, bless her heart, she is a Trump devotee, but not me. He got my attention when he did the bump stock deal with the ATF, and I didn't like that too much. And I'm not too happy with the way things are going right now. It's just like Liberty Smith says. Yeah, Bill Gates is a weasel demon, and sometimes Trump looks that way as well, but let's hope not. But yeah, I have to agree. Trump's not acting very presidential right now.
No. And the fact that he just renewed the Patriot Act and all those. That's a huge issue with me. That's where he lost me. Dan
Pete said he's not getting the Gates vaccine. Well, Pete, I hate to be the one to inform you that you and I, as well as Fight and Defend and a whole bunch of other people, are not going to get the vaccine either. But if you've looked at the articles, if you do a little research really deep, you can find that this vaccine is intended to, if you don't take the vaccine, you can't buy and you can't sell, just like in Revelation, when it says that with the, you know, unless you take the mark of the beast, you'll neither be able to buy or sell. And that's exactly what's happening now. If you don't take the virus, you can't walk up and have your hand scanned at the grocery store, the service station, or at the big box stores, wherever you're at. You walk up to a Coke machine, you wave your hand over it because you have a chip in your hand where they put the vaccine. It's a little tiny thing, smaller than a grain of rice. But that is the controlling mechanism for you, and it's a direct connection to 5G and to the government.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you think it's not going to happen, please open your eyes.
There's something I want to read real quick.
Sure.
Just a little bit. This is actually from the Chatham House. It talks about, can protest movements in the region turn COVID-19 into an opportunity for change? People, if you get a minute, read this. It's unbelievable. I mean, they are taking full advantage of this. Let me see here. They're talking about a lot of, areas like Baghdad and Beirut and stuff, where it's eliminated all the protests. All the people that have been protesting against the government for a long time now are all locked down. And it's time for the politicians to take control and enforce their control over the people, basically. When you read it, it's upsetting. I mean, it just lays it out, basically, how things are, and they said, people are more aware of raising and sharing essential foods and cleaning and disinfecting space. I mean, it was just a group hug, kumbaya story. But when you get into the political part of it, they're basically telling the politicians, this is the time to take your control.
That's right. Okay, I have to agree with you there, Kurt. We can't buy and sell in their system, so we create our own.
Absolutely.
And we do that with this right here.
Absolutely.
With silver.
Absolutely.
Or gold or platinum, whatever you can afford. And that's going to be the way the barter system works. We're either going to buy and sell with precious metals, or we're going to be on a barter system.
Yep.
Okay, you produce bread. Well, I produce that. My chickens produce eggs.
Yep.
I'll trade you eggs for bread. Or I have a milk cow. I'll trade you milk, for eggs, whatever.
That is one thing that'll tick the government right off, is everybody jumped into the barter system.
I recommend the barter system for anybody if you can do it.
I mean, people, you can even use, I did it before. You can use your labor, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done labor work for people and come home with restaurant grade frozen food. I came home with a torch set one time. No cash in 6 days, no paperwork, no nothing. Government gets nothing. My model's always been, you make profit, I make profit, and the government makes nothing. And that's how I live. I live by that motto all the time. Cash money, barter, whatever.
Yeah.
No checks, no nothing.
Well, I always had to have a good job because I was raising kids, and I was in the union for a long time, as well as a paramedic for years. But you know, it's crazy the way that works.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine to have a job and you can have money, but you can barter your labor for almost anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if the barter system really worked, you could say, okay, guy, I'll come cut your grass twice if you'll change my oil, or
Yep.
I'll cut your grass if you change my oil. That's the barter system. You know, I've got chickens, you got bread, so let's swap, let's barter. And it really works good for the people.
Yeah.
But you have to be prepared to go into that system before it to work.
Yeah.
And that would take a while.
And like anything else, I mean, there'll be shady people out there that you'll end up running into or having to deal with. But, you know, if you can get in with a good group of people, like I said with me, you know, I have a garden. There's certain things that I can grow in my soil, but somebody else can grow other things in theirs.
Do no harm. SCOTUS decided years ago it's superior law over statutes, codes, and regulations. I could understand that. But yeah, I'm into this common law thing. And I like to do a lot of research on the International Common Law Court and what they're doing. So check that out.
The buffering has started. Linda says we're buffering. Kurt says he's buffering. Here we go.
Yeah. And it always starts about 35 minutes in.
Yeah, the snowflakes are having a meltdown again. Boo-hoo.
Okay, Donnie, you're not buffering. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, common law is common sense. That's right.
Yep.
For the most part. For the most part. It depends whose common sense we're using.
Listen, like I say, they're not playing by the rules, nor am I. They play by the rules. I play by the rules.
They're not going to do that.
Exactly. So then, nor am I.
And you can count on that from square one. Yep. They are not going to. Well, you're not going to comply. They're not going to comply. And what does that cause? Friction.
Yeah.
And friction leads to arguments. Arguments lead to fights, and fights sometimes lead to death.
Yeah, Wayne, that's a valid point. If it goes down, absolutely. We got to get back our rights that we've lost for a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
This isn't going to be just over, you know, I want food in my house. This needs to go back, you know, for years and years, like you say. We have a lot of rights that we lost over the years.
Well, I say we go back and we might just throw abortion right in there to start with. Let's go back and let's do away with
things. You know, I've said it before, and I talk to a lot of people, and everybody, we're all alike. All we want to do is just be able to go to work, make a living, raise our family, and be left alone. That's it. That's not a lot to ask. Just leave us alone. Don't tell us what to do. Don't tell us how to raise our kids. Just leave us alone. You know what's amazing is they'll sit there and play the game. Well, shut off your water. Well, shut off your lights. But go and live off the grid. They'll arrest you for not having lights and water. It's just stupid. It really is stupid. Yeah, everybody's buffering.
All right, guys. If the buffering gets too bad, let me know and we'll sign off. And we'll be back to see you on Wednesday. So there's no sense us trying to do a video if YouTube is not going to let us get it out there. Everybody's saying it's back. Power Grid Online. Okay. So it looks like we do have a lot of buffering going on, John. As a matter of fact, you're buffering on me now.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, they don't like what we talk about.
Too bad. It's the new norm. Get used to it, as we tell us.
Yeah, you're breaking up pretty bad. Your voice, your camera's fine, but your voice is what's breaking up.
Yeah. Wayne Rogers, valid point. No more license for nothing. You know, I mean, why do we need a dog license? You know, why do you need to get a marriage license? Why do you need to get a fishing license? You know, it's just crazy. It really
Okay,
is.
Liberty Smith. Okay, everything's fine there. No buffering here. Okay, we'll hang around for a little while then, Miss Mary, if it's not bad. Kirk says, leave me alone does not stop thugs. You're right.
Yeah.
They need to learn they are servants, not the masters.
Yes, absolutely, Kurt. We need to remind them who they were.
Yeah. That's why you always need to carry.
Always
have it close to you. And always be prepared and keep one in the chamber. Because these thugs, they don't care. The only thing to stop a thug a lot of times is just a piece of lead.
You know, being a thug, it's a hazard of the job. What happens to you?
But there again, I will say this to all gun owners. If you pull a gun, go ahead and shoot it. Because don't pull it unless you intend to shoot it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Be prepared once you clear your holster that you're going to probably have to shoot that gun.
Yep.
So be careful. Don't pull it unless you have to, because you're committed then.
But don't hesitate too long either.
No, don't hesitate too long. But there again, get to know your gun, get to know your holster, get to know your pull.
Yeah.
Go target practicing, do holster pulls, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to pull from a holster or from a handbag or from somewhere. You're not going to be walking around with a gun in your hand, but when you're confronted by a bunch of thugs, what are you going to do?
Yep.
You can only run so far, so fast.
Yep.
And I'm not one for running.
Right. Why do you have to run? Wayne, that's a valid point. You know, when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. You're right.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Man, you're putting some good stuff out there, Wayne.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Wayne Rogers, DFW, man. I love the stuff you're putting out there. Amen. Lead poison. Linda Horner, patriotfriend.yahoo.com to join our family phone list.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want to join the phone list, just in case YouTube takes us away, we won't use this phone list for anything at any other time.
Which they probably will.
But if they kick Deplorable Bobby off of YouTube, then I would still like to be able to stay in contact with those of you who support me all the time. And I do appreciate you for that. It's been a really low count tonight, but as I've said many times, I'd rather have the 13 people in here who support me and fight and defend. And, you give us your time. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm sure that fight and defend is as well. So just I'd rather have 13 loyal friends than to have 200 passerbys who really don't care.
Yeah.
Who are just in the chat to further their own agenda or
we've got good people, and everybody's into it too. So.
Yes, we do. And Kurt Mullins, I'm glad you showed up, brother. I haven't seen you a lot, but I'm glad you're here because you have a lot of good stuff too. It's to advocate when it's proper. Open carry it deters most criminals. Make sure to train. Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. This 9mm of mine is a outside carry. I have a concealed carry permit, but I prefer to carry it on the outside just so people will be aware. Not only will the would-be bad guys see that I'm armed, so will the people in the store say that, well, there's somebody here to protect them if something goes down.
Yeah.
And I always make sure I never put my hand anywhere near my gun, when I'm in Walmart or anywhere like that. So, because I know if I go to it, I'm going to pull it. And if I'm going to pull it, I'm going to shoot it.
Right.
That's just the way it is. At least let me put it this way. At least if I were in that situation, I would hope that's the way I would react.
Yeah.
Because I've never had to draw down on anybody and I've never shot anybody. So
you know what, guys? It's common sense. It is. You know, in my 15 years, I never once shot anybody. Did I have to draw on people? Absolutely, because they were carrying, you know. And
that's
let me
right.
tell you haven't felt intense until you're staring down the barrel of somebody else's gun and they're staring down yours. It's intense. It really is. I've been there. But common sense, you know, I knew the guy was nervous. He was nervous as all get up, you know. And there's a lot to take in, but if you look, I could see his safety was still on. He was pointing at me, but his safety was on, you know. So you don't go and load up. I mean, unfortunately, nowadays the cops, as soon as they even reach for it, they start dropping you. But common sense, you know, if you feel really threatened, do what you have to do. But it should come second nature. Hand, draw. Just keep practicing, you know, second nature. It's an extension of your arm, basically.
Yeah, I hear you, Steve Bevins.
The Charity's in here.
Yeah, hey Charity. Yeah, she's a busy lady, bless her heart.
Yep.
Those 3 kids and a husband, so she's got a lot to do. Plus, she works. It's always good to see Charity. And a matter of fact, I'm going to say it again. I don't think I've said it yet, but as of today, Friday nights, we'll have Charity, Fight and Defend, and myself on a regular basis. So
Yep.
Charity's going to join us on Friday nights at 7:30. So if you like Charity, and I'm sure all of you do, as I do, come on over Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be myself, Fight and Defend, and the beautiful Charity. So she'll be here, and she's got great information, and she's also got an opinion. So she's
Yep.
welcome here. It's going to be a great asset to Deplorable Bobby. So can't wait for that every Friday night. That's going to be a special blessing for us. So
Yeah, we got to dress this podcast up because those 2 old goats are just.
yeah, I go into my analytics and I look at them and I look at my views and my viewers, and it says that 98% of them are over 65, and the other 98, another 98 are men. So I have very little women and a lot of old people, according according to YouTube. But I do have some younger people. I know that for a fact. Like, well, everybody in here is younger than me, so it's not hard to beat me being younger.
Yeah.
So you got something else for us, John?
No, that's it for now, man. I'm debating on, like I said, I talked about it the other night, doing a podcast on guerrilla warfare, seeing how they're covering us so bad.
Right.
I don't know. I'll have to think the idea over, because I know for sure they'll throw us off at that point.
Well, I don't know. I'm surprised I haven't been thrown off already, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. John's run out of stuff to say, and let me see if I have anything that's worth bringing to you. I don't want to just be running along. All right, I want to do this right quick before I go, and it's on a lot of stay-at-home orders. I just want to get this out to the people. Stay-at-home orders issued by most states have created a total disconnect and is popular among the social justice warriors and the rest of the Demon Rat Society. But on the other hand, protests are happening in states across America. Obedience to the law is centered on 3 motives. One is some social justice warriors and demon rats. They shut down. The shutdown is proper and just, and it's their civic duty to follow orders without question. These are the sheeple people. Number 2, the sheep will expect that obedience to draconian tyranny will provide them benefits that others are denied. Do you see how they play with these demon rats in their mind? That they want benefits that other people don't get. They want to be special. Sheep will fear that this disobedience to the unconstitutional laws will impose cost upon them that can be avoided if you just follow the rules. So that's what they're trying to say, is that that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to follow one of these 3 steps, and that's what you need to do under this draconian tyranny that they put us under in many places. So,
Well,
that's...
I hate to break their hearts, but I ain't.
Well, John, I appreciate you coming on tonight. And we've done almost an hour. I've, pardon me, I've really been busy. I know you have too.
Yeah.
And I've done just about all the research that I could squeeze into what time I had. So everybody, I want to thank you for being here. Linda Horner and Scarecrow, Liberty Smith, my brother in Oklahoma, Wayne Rogers, DFW, Kurt Mullins. Thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for subbing. Steve Bevins, Scarecrow, Dan Pete, Kurt Mullins again. It looks like those are the only ones been talking for quite a little while. But guys, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being in the chat. I appreciate you participating. It's a typical Sunday night. You never know what's going to happen. A couple of weeks ago, I think it was last week, we had something like 260 views on that video. And today we've got 12 people in here. So we'll be back Wednesday night at 7:30, Fight and Defend and I. And then Friday night, it'll be Miss Charity, Fight and Defend, and myself, Friday night at 7:30. So we'll see you Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And we'll see you again on Friday. John, do you have any last words?
Yeah, everybody watch what's happening in the protests. Actually, right now they got a massive one going on in California. I'm very impressed. They have flocked to the beach and they don't know what to do. Tons and tons of people are at the beach right now. So it's a beautiful thing. You know, when you see it start to happen in California, then you know they pushed it too far.
Yeah, that's right.
So
everybody stay on top of that. Do your own research. Okay, we love you guys. We'll see you Wednesday night at 7:30.
That all.
Good night.